What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Jack Talks Jets. As we welcome you in, we just want to remind you to make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button for more awesome Jets content like this. You could also follow my social media as Jack Talks Jets on both Instagram and Twitter. And let's get right into the topic of the day, which is, of course, regarding the current Geno Smith situation. You have all of this stuff with his legal issues going on. So, there's some quarterback names that are popping up on the radar right now. Most notably, one person that stands out to me more than anybody else, I think, is former New England Patriots quarterback, former Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback, and current San Francisco 49ers backup quarterback, Mac Jones. And you know what? I don't really dig it. I don't dig it. I think that, keep in mind here, Jones he's bounced from team to team, and I think that he serves a primary backup role better than a starter. He has not started on an NFL roster in 3 years. I think that, as before we get into all of my reasons why, make sure to, call into the number 203-491-0164. Again, that is 203-491-0164 to give your thoughts on the matter. We will play them. We will play your voicemail throughout the live stream today if we get some. Also, post your thoughts in the live chat. We have them right now as we go over to Brooklyn Boys. What's up, Josh? How you doing? And Shop Stewart, New Jersey. How are you doing? I'm assuming that might be Chris, but I don't know. Correct me if I am wrong in the chat. But anyway, let's get right into the topic of the day. Mac Jones. I don't want him on the. I'm just gonna get straightforward with you guys. I don't believe where I stand on this. I don't believe the New York Jets should target Mac Jones. One, because I think that Geno Smith's legal situation will pass over. I don't think he will be found guilty. There's been no evidence found yet. There's been nothing to progress the case that will presume that he will not be the week one starter. I do think Geno Smith will end up being the week one starter for the New York Jets. Again, I'm just not a fan of the Mac Jones thing. Now, this isn't me saying Mac Jones is a terrible quarterback. I just don't think it fits where the Jets are trying to go in 2026, as well as his inconsistencies, his questionable decision making at times. Now, he is a valuable backup, like I said, but as a starter, I'm not buying it. I'd rather have Geno Smith at that point, and I think he'll be ready by week one. I don't think this will affect the Jets in any way. I don't even think the Jets are going to need Mac Jones, like I just said. So why are people talking about Mac Jones? Let's get into why people are talking about the Mac Jones situation here. Like I said, the Geno situation has created uncertainty. Fans and media are looking at veteran QB options, so there's not really any room to, or not any, there hasn't been really any discussions about starting Cade Klubnik right off the bat if Geno Smith will not be ready for week one or is not able to play the majority of this NFL season. Cade Klubnik, I think, is out the window. I don't think that Aaron Glenn wants to force the rookie, especially who was a very inconsistent player last season. I don't think they are. I don't think they want to start a rookie like Klubnik right out of the bat. Bailey Zappi, I guess you could say the same thing. Zappi, he was fine in a few games with the New England Patriots, but as a starter, I don't think that he is capable enough to lead this Jets team to maybe 7 wins this season, like a lot of Jet fans are projecting. I said 5 wins, even with Geno Smith. So if you start Bailey Zappi, that could be like a 3-win season, 4-win season, maybe if the defense really steps up. But I think that, the best bet, if they were to go, is a veteran quarterback route. I just don't think Mac Jones is the correct option. If there are other quarterbacks out there that I could trade for that maybe I'd be more comfortable with, Gardner Minshew could be an option there, but I don't believe the Jets will do that, nor do I want the Jets to do that. I'm just I'm just throwing names out there, First things first, like as I just did a quick recap on that, I genuinely believe Geno Smith is going to be the Jets starting quarterback in week one. There have been no charges filed. The situation is still developing. There's no indication that the Jets that they're moving on from Smith, at least not right now. And NFL investigations can take time until we hear otherwise. I'm operating under the assumption that Geno will be under center come the Tennessee Titans game in Nashville in September. And moving on to point 2, I think that, just Mac Jones, moving back to Mac Jones, I just don't think he fits Frank Reich's vision. And I think that when I think about Frank Reich's offense, I don't think about Mac Jones. Frank Reich wants to, he wants play action. He wants vertical concepts, taking shots downfield, extending plays, operating efficiently under pressure. I think that's where Frank Reich thrives in his offenses. That's where I think that Geno Smith would absolutely thrive in that offense. Maybe not thrive, but I think he would do better than what he did, way better than what he did in Vegas last year. Mac Jones, I think, is the complete opposite of that. Mac Jones has limited arm strength, limited mobility, struggles when pressure. I think that's a big one for him, and he doesn't create much outside structure, if that makes sense. Mac Jones feels like a quarterback you'd have to build the offense around. Frank Reich wants a quarterback like Geno Smith that can help elevate the offense. I just don't think that's Mac Jones. I think that's another quarterback. There's just not a lot of things you could work with Mac Jones in Frank Reich's offensive scheme. Now, if it was Kyle Shanahan, if for some miracle we had Kyle Shanahan as our head coach, bring in Mac Jones, bring him on board. I think Kyle Shanahan's offense, and really any quarterback, I think thrives in this offense, but especially Mac Jones. I wouldn't say he's revived his career because he's not. I still don't think he's starting material, but he saved his career from being killed off by joining the San Francisco 49ers, if that makes sense. I think he's a very valuable backup. I think he's a very serviceable backup. If we were going to trade for him or sign him to be a backup, I'm all for it. As a starter, though, no, I do not want. I think Mac Jones is not ready enough to start for another NFL team. I don't think he is ready. I think in general, I think there are other names out there that would fit the Jets so much better than Mac Jones. The Jets also have speaking of backups as well, the Jets already have their backup plan. You have Cade Klubnik, Bailey Zappi, and Brady Cook already on the roster. Having 5 quarterbacks take up the 53-man, I think would just be a waste of roster or a waste of quarterbacks unless they're going to only roll with 2, which I could definitely see being a possibility. I'm going to say the New York Jets roll with 3 quarterbacks this season. If everything goes right, if Geno Smith comes back, this whole situation blows over, it'll be Smith QB1, I think it'll be Klubnik QB2, and I think it'll be Zappi QB3, and I think Brady Cook will be on the practice squad. That's how I envision the Jets quarterback situation going this year if everything goes right for Geno Smith. The Jets already have, developmental quarterbacks in the room. If Geno were unavailable for a short period of time, I don't think signing Mac Jones or trading for Mac Jones suddenly changed the ceiling of this football team as well. I just think that if anything, they get worse. I think the ceiling low. I think the ceiling will either stay the same. I think it'll maybe lower a little bit, but it's not like a drastic change. I think that will happen for good. Look, Mac had a rookie year. He had a good rookie year. He had maybe a solid second year in the NFL as well. But his regression afterwards and heading into his 3rd year in the NFL and so on afterwards, his regression after that, his struggles in New England, his inconsistency, his confidence issues, those are all pinpoints of showing that Mac, I don't think has the it factor as I think Geno Smith can have. As we've seen in Seattle, Geno Smith has had that it factor before for 3 seasons with the Seattle Seahawks. Mac Jones, he had like a semi it factor in his rookie year with the Patriots. I think that was, a lot of it was his team around him as well. That the New England Patriots defense in 2021, I believe, was top 10. Or at least top 15. I think they had a great team that year. Offense was pretty solid as well. I'm not dogging on Jones, saying that he was just a game manager, or just a system quarterback, excuse me. But I believe that part of the reason why Mac Jones had a lot of success in New England his rookie year was because of the team around him, because of his head coach, and because of his offensive coordinator. I think that, if you were to put Mac Jones on this Jets roster, he would have his worst season of his career by far. I think it would be similar to the Justin Fields situation last season, where Fields, coming off a strong year in Pittsburgh, heading into the Jets, everybody's thinking he's going to have a strong year. But look, not really in the right system. It's New York. Quarterbacks are destined to fail there, at least over the past 10 years. So I think it would be another one of those situations. And it could be the same for Geno. I will be fair here. It very well could be the same thing for Geno Smith. He by no means is Geno Smith a perfect quarterback or a great quarterback. I think at least from last season, based off what we saw with him alone, he is a good, above average to good quarterback who was in a terrible situation last year. He was in a terrible, terrible situation. And I think if he is brought into the right system, like he is with the New York Jets right now, I think he can go back to being a good quarterback like he was in Seattle. I think that, at some point we have to stop evaluating. I think at some point, going back to Mac Jones here, At some point, I think the Jets have to. I think we as fans, analysts, and everybody else have to stop evaluating Mac Jones based on what he was as a rookie, and start evaluating him based off what he's been recently. Like the points I just named: inconsistent, confidence issues. His regression, I think, has been a huge factor in him not being able to find a starting job since his New England Patriots days. Um, I think this could also slow down the offensive development, I guess you could say. My biggest concern isn't even Mac Jones himself. Like, that's not even my biggest concern. I think if Mac plays for the Jets this season, Reich has to change a lot of the game plans. There's going to be less of an aggressive offensive approach like there has been in minicamp and how Frank Reich likes to approach things. There's going to be a more conservative approach. I don't think Jones is more of a risk taker like Geno Smith is. So there's going to be a much more conservative approach if the Jets trade for Mac Jones. I think this limits the offensive stealing. Like, I think the offense would be so much better with Geno Smith on this roster. I think Frank Reich has a very specific vision for what this offense would look like with Geno Smith under center, and honestly, Mac Jones just doesn't fit that vision. He doesn't. Now, if the Geno situation changes dramatically, like if something were to happen, you want to sign a quarterback with veteran experience that's not Mac Jones. Like I said, Gardner Minshew could be an option if they could trade for him. I'm not sure if he's on a squad right now. If he is, then I think the Jets should at least try to trade for him. Again, I think he's better as a backup, but I think he's a better option than Mac Jones. It's just, I want a quarterback that could stabilize the room if Geno Smith isn't available. Like, there's just not many options right now that I can pinpoint off the top of my head that can do that the way that I think Smith can. Maybe Carson Wentz. If Carson Wentz is a free agent right now, I'm actually going to look that up right now because I'm not sure if he is. Is Carson Wentz a free agent? Because if he is, not going to lie, I think that would be our second best bet. He is not a free agent. Okay, so he is signed with the... Let's see here. I believe he signed. I'm not sure if he's still with the Vikings. He did. Okay, he re-signed with the Minnesota Vikings a few months ago. So he is back in Minnesota. If everything goes wrong, if Smith cannot play this season or something dramatic, I think the Jets should really consider trading for Carson Wentz. I get it. Carson Wentz is not the quarterback that he was 9 years ago, 9 years ago, but he is very familiar with Frank Reich's offensive scheme. We've seen it come back with him in 2021 with the Indianapolis Colts. Sure, he didn't have a great year, but he definitely showed some signs of resurgence in his career in 2021 with the Colts and Frank Reich. He definitely showed a little bit of resurgence. So I think that is a comfortable candidate, I think you can say, to trade for if everything does not work out with Geno Smith. So at the end of the day, I think Geno Smith is still going to be the Jets quarterback. I think Frank Reich's offense is better suited for Geno. And honestly, I think bringing in Mac Jones would create more questions than answers. And personally, I'd pass on that option. I think you still got to go the veteran route. I think there's better names: Gardner Minshew, Carson Wentz, all of that. But let me ask you guys some questions. For those of you still in the chat, would you sign Mac Jones? Let me know down in the chat below. And do you guys think Geno Smith will be the week 1 starter? Give me that. Do you guys think if everything goes wrong, should the Jets trade for Mac Jones? Or would you rather roll with Cade Klubnik? I'm actually going to see if I can put a poll here because let's see if I can. I believe I can. If not, then I think I'm just going to do it on my phone because I'm going to just let's see. Let's put in a poll here. Yep. All right. So we are going to start a poll. What would you rather do? Okay, so if the Geno Smith situation does not cool down, let's say there's a dramatic change. Let's say you trade for Mac Jones, trade for Carson Wentz, or the last option would be start Cade Klubnik off the bat. Okay, so I just put in a poll in the chat. It should be loading up very shortly. You can vote in that right now for your thoughts. Trade if anything does not work out for Geno Smith? Would you rather trade for Mac Jones, trade for Carson Wentz, who is in Minnesota right now, or start Cade Klubnik right off the bat? I want to hear your thoughts down below in that poll. We will be seeing your results shortly. Make sure to vote in that poll. And also make sure to give a call. Make sure to give a call. We have 203-491-0164. 203-491-0164 is the phone number where you can leave your thoughts and expressions, right now in the voicemail box. You can leave your thoughts there. Jets related, training camp related, Geno Smith related, Mac Jones related, anything Jets related. We will take your calls. As soon as you put in a voicemail, make sure to leave your name and where you're from if you decide to call. Shop Stewart, New Jersey says you can make the argument if Minnesota got Murray and re-signed Wentz, we could trade for JJ. You know what? That's not a bad option, to be honest with you, especially if we're just going to go for the bridge route. I think that, again, I honestly think I actually take that back. I don't think it's a great option because I think he's on a similar level as Mac Jones. I think he lowers the offensive ceiling. I don't really believe that. Let's see how tall. Let me actually see how tall JJ is, because I actually do believe he is actually a tall guy, if I remember correctly. 6'3". Okay, yeah. So that's an ideal Frank Reich quarterback height. I think that he can fit well with the scheme. I think he fits better with the scheme than Mac Jones does. But I also believe that McCarthy, I think, is on the similar level in a sense that he lowers the offensive ceiling, and I think that Reich would have to adjust some things last minute, which I think could cause a little bit of issues. Although I am not although I wouldn't be totally opposed to that option if that were to ever pop up. If Minnesota did get Kyler Murray, I would not be totally opposed to that, but I'm not really in that boat. I still wouldn't really be in that boat, but not the worst option in the world though. So yeah, let's to keep the show moving. Make sure to call into the number. Make sure to vote in the poll. Looks like we have one vote, and that is start Cade Klubnik right off the bat. So we have a lot of Cade Klubnik fans in here. Got a lot of Cade Klubnik fans. I like Cade Klubnik too. I really do. I think the guy can have a lot of potential in the NFL, although unfortunately I think he will be a career backup. I do think that he can become a very serviceable backup for the Jets in the long run. Now, if for everybody thinking that Cade Klubnik will become the Jets franchise quarterback, I think that is absolutely baloney. Just because I think that, the Jets will draft a quarterback next season, whether that be Arch Manning, whether that be Dante Moore, whether that be Lenore Sellers, etc. Personally speaking, if Lenore Sellers played like he did in 2024, if Lenore Sellers plays to his full potential this season in the 2026 college football season, I think that Lenore Sellers will become the best quarterback, and I believe he'll become QB1 in the 2027 draft class. So that's genuinely what I believe what will happen if Sellers plays to his full potential like he did a couple of years ago. Now, right now, I would say the quarterback one is a tie between Arch Manning and Dante Moore, preferably Dante Moore, I would say right now. But you can never say never, right? I think Sellers definitely has all the tools. I think he has all the potential in the world to become QB1 of this draft. There's a sneaky name in there as well in CJ Carr, although Notre Dame has the reputation of not having great NFL quarterbacks, not producing good NFL quarterbacks. Look at DeShone Kizer. Even his own coach said he wasn't ready. Who else? Ian Book, career back. I don't even know if that guy's on a roster anymore. He could be in the UFL for all I know. So it's just, and Riley Leonard, backup for the Colts, not really doing much. He went to a national championship and not even starting on an NFL roster. So I think that Notre Dame quarterbacks are very iffy. Like I think they play great in college, but when they transition to the pros, I think they become one of the most insufferable quarterbacks to watch on an NFL roster. I just think that overall, I'm gonna wrap up the show in a few minutes here. If you want to just get your last minute thoughts in, make sure to type this in the chat. Call into the number 203-491-0164 before we log out here on this beautiful, beautiful Sunday morning here in the tri-state area. And you know what? I think Geno Smith will be ready. I think Smith will be ready. But anyway, thank you all so much for tuning in to this episode of Jack Talks Jets. I'm going to try doing more live streams for you guys. My last two my last two videos have been live streams. Actually, I just live streamed around 2 weeks ago, and then I'm live streaming today. This is just the dead period of the off season. I'm going to cover mini camp probably soon. Recap mini camp maybe soon. Training camp is really what we're starting to get really rampant back into this thing, unless there's a lot of breaking news in between. But I'm going to try to stay as consistent as I can for you guys. I'm going to be as consistent as I can for you guys. It's just been, it's been a desert out here in Jets land. It's been hard coming up with some content here, but I will definitely get more content out for you guys. I promise you that. We're gonna see you guys. If I don't see you guys for 4th of July, if I don't log on for 4th of July, I just want to say happy 250th birthday, United States. The United States is 250 years old. What a celebration that is to the greatest country in the world. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I think I'm actually gonna do one probably 4th of July morning, honestly. If not, then I'm definitely gonna do one the night before 4th of July, and we're gonna have a whole 4th of July like theme here on the overlay. But anyway, thank you all so much for tuning into the live stream. I'm Jack Cotter, your host here on this beautiful Sunday morning. And all I have to say is just make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button if you are new to the channel. Again, make sure to follow my social medias at Jack Talks Jets on both Instagram and Twitter. Make sure to subscribe as well to the YouTube, where we will keep producing more great Jets content like this.